I kind of liked The Idol. I didn't think I was gonna like it. Typically, I don't dig things that are about the industry because I get the ick because I've spent so much time around people like that. But for some reason, I didn't get that with this. It's like with Entourage. Like I can't watch Entourage because I know too many people like that. And then because it's a comedy, the worst characters end up being everybody's favorites. So then it's like these absolute douchebag guys ends up being who everybody loves, but they're really just monsters and they're everywhere. So with The Idol, I didn't quite get that. Obviously, a lot of the characters are based on some sort of stereotypical types in Hollywood, and those stereotypes exist for a reason, like the overzealous publicist and you know all the best friend who's the assistant, like all of that's very, very typical. But yeah, it opens with this one long shot, and I don't know if many people noticed it, but she's on a sofa, and the painting behind her it's like a bunch of faces, and I'm 100% sure that what they were doing was referencing this meme. I'm 1,000% sure this is what they were referencing. Go back and watch that shot. I think they were, and it was a very, very deliberate thing of like everyone sort of essentially trying to fuck her, like over something. Everyone trying to get a piece of her somehow, and so they used that meme. I can guarantee you that's what they were trying to do. So I think they were trying to use that as a really good metaphor. And there were obviously a lot of articles about pull-out quotes from the show being kind of gross. And there was one in particular where somebody says mental illness is sexy. And so a lot of people did articles kind of flaming it using that quote, but realistically, like it is in context, like it's said by her toxic publicist, who is obviously supposed to be a villain and someone who's not steering her on the right path. So it's like criticizing, it's like saying, oh my God, they had said such anti-Semitic stuff in The Pianist. It's like, yeah, because they're playing Nazis. So it's like, it's in the context of who's saying it. It's because that's a bad person. You're not supposed to like them, because the whole show's about this girl who's extremely Miley Cyrus-esque in look, in sort of backstory, and then the irony, of course, is that Lily Rose-Depp is the daughter of Johnny Depp, whereas Miley Cyrus is a nepo baby from Billy Ray Cyrus. So there's that kind of cross-world element, I guess. Generally speaking, I think she is awesome. She did great. I really, really enjoyed Lily Rose-Depp. I think she's doing awesome. I liked her when I saw her in her little bit part at the end of The King with Timothée Chalamet. Big fan of that. I thought she did a great job. Also, people were giving The Weeknd a really hard time for his acting in this. However, I think he did as much as he was supposed to with that dialogue. I mean, it isn't much. There isn't much there for him to do or say. So, you know, he did something with it. I wasn't like pulled out of it by how bad his acting was or anything. Thought it was fine. I think personally, I mean, the whole show is about like how fame is kind of gross, and it's going to play into that, and how these people are kind of used, and it feels weird to have an actual famous person in that role. I don't know. Maybe that makes it better. I'm not sure, but he's doing fine. I think a lot of the articles about his bad acting are maybe being a little too harsh. But there's some other good casting. There's what's her face from Blackpink, one of the women from Blackpink. She was awesome. She has a good dancing scene. That was really good. But yeah, Lily Rose-Depp is awesome, and I think she alone is going to be worth watching, because I feel like in something like this, like where she is sort of on the wrong path, you as the audience member are going to want to constantly be going like, no, please don't do this. Don't fall for this weird guy. Like, don't make these bad decisions. And you have to, the only way you can really cheer for that when you're watching somebody make bad decisions is if you're completely in love with them. And I'm totally in love with Lily Rose-Depp. I feel totally bad for her in the situation she's in. I obviously empathize with her having like a mental breakdown after her mom just died, because that's my case as well. But yeah, there was another pullout quote that people got mad about, which is her best friend slash assistant says about the Weeknd's character, says he seems kind of rapey, and then Lily says, I kind of like that about him. Now, I think that's supposed to be one of those things where it's like she knows he's bad for her, but she's still kind of drawn to it, and that's supposed to be one of those moments where it's like, no, please, this guy sucks, I beg of you. Jesus Christ. And then, of course, they have this whole really gratuitous scene at the end I didn't love, involving kind of, I won't even describe it, but it's just kind of like, it's like some choking sort of stuff. But it's all very metaphorical. Like, this whole thing is extremely metaphorical, and I think a very good way. There's also a reference, there's the masturbation scene where she's choking herself and masturbating, and then I think they literally did that just so you can understand what happens at the end scene with her and the Weeknd. It's definitely not going to be my favorite couple of all time on screen, but I get what they're going for, and I get that it's controversial, maybe for the sake of controversial, but at the end I do see enough elements of them being on the right track and telling the right kind of story about fame and the kind of people that come to your circle and steer you wrong, and all of the people around you who try to fuck you over and keep you sheltered from the world. It's very odd, and try to make money off of you having a mental breakdown. And like there's a reference to the fappening, as it's colloquially referred to, or the iCloud hack, where everybody's nudes came out, and that was that Jennifer Lawrence photo with stuff on her face. So that happens to her, and they make it seem like it's going to be this big part of the episode, but they just kind of gloss over it. It just sort of like happens all of a sudden, and then they just move on from it. So it was weird. Also, I wanted to reference, there's a very important part of the show where this is something that goes in general for all movies and TV shows. If you see a movie or TV show being played in a movie or TV show, that was chosen very, very specifically. They're trying to draw a parallel, because you have to decide, like, no screen is just like on. Like, they decided there's going to be a screen. We're going to shoot what's on that screen. It is going to be this movie or TV show. It's going to be this scene, and we have to license it. It's extremely intentional by the director, creator, etc. So it was a scene of Sharon Stone in Fatal Attraction. So I think we're going to have to look at things in maybe that kind of way. And I suspect that there's going to be a lot of parallels with maybe Sharon Stone's character in Lily Rose-Depp, or maybe it's a role reversal and the Sharon Stone character is really the Weeknd, which is kind of what I'm thinking. Either way, there's enough little elements in the direction of it, in the filmmaking of it, that I think they're on the right track. Also, a weird thing was, she basically the character smokes, I think, Virginia Slims, which is another one of those elements where it's like they very specifically chose that cigarette. And I think it's something to do with, like, because it's something about, again, it's one of those things like a director or the showrunner picked that cigarette specifically for what she's going to smoke. And so that is some kind of metaphor for it being this thin thing burning down. And maybe that has something to do with her mental state, or I don't know. There's something metaphorical there, because nobody just chooses Virginia Slims out of nowhere. So that was definitely chosen very specifically. But yeah, that's pretty much everything about it that hit me. Eli Roth is in it. There's a lot of weird casting, like Eli Roth, The Weeknd. Eli Roth plays very much an over-the-top, Jewish manager, I think it is. He's extremely over-the-top. Not that those people don't exist, but it does feel a little over-the-top. But that's, you cast Eli Roth, you get like a little like diet Nicolas Cage, I want to say, almost. But yeah, that's my sort of review of The Idol. I didn't hate it. Is it great? No. Is it good? Maybe. Is it fine? Yeah. Am I going to watch it next weekend? Yeah, probably. I might check it out. Actually, I'm going to be out of town, so I might not. But generally speaking, if the only thing that comes from this is Lily Rose-Depp has her vehicle to bigger roles, then great. Because I think she's very talented. I think she's great. And she shows her range within the first 20 seconds of this. So I think she's good in this, and we'll see what happens with The Weeknd. But I think he was okay. That's my review.